miss?
Oh, about a half a dozen. Not as many as many of my peers and a lot of our warriors, actually.
But none of them good, right?
Well, the most recent one, about 3 years ago, I was in Baghdad for Christmas. I was the operations officer for Operation Inherent Resolve in Iraq as we were ridding the city of Mosul of ISIS. And I got about 200 boxes from Warrior Foundation Freedom Station with my name on it, which was actually kind of inconvenient at the time. It was great to get that much love from home, and I was able to push these boxes out to our task forces in Al-Assad and Al-Taqaddam and making a lot of young Marines and soldiers mostly.
That's cool. So you got some love from home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome to just kind of feel that kind of support from the American people, and particularly coming straight from San Diego here.
That's the second best thing we can do. The best thing we can do is send our guys directly home. 1-800-760-KFMB.com. We have our entire group of volunteers here ready to take your donations out. $5 a week is all I'm asking. $5 a week sends them home. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-KFMB. And back to the great Armstrong Getty, who have done a fantastic job so far this week helping out Warrior Foundation. We'll be back.
Oh, wait a second.
Hey, good playing, Jack.
Yeah, leave that song. Leave this song going. I'm going to play along with it. Whoops, that's the wrong end of the bow. Sorry.
Seems like a very basic thing.
And the devil jumped up on the boy, let me tell you what.
Yes.
I've heard worse.
Have you?
Now you played pretty good.
My son's cello playing is actually coming along, so he didn't get it from me. I'll tell you that. The ability to play this sort of instrument.
Run, boys, run!
Chicken in the bread pan picking out dough.
Yeah.
Grandma does your dog bite. No child, no.
Right?
What's not to like there? So mailbag in a little bit, and also we got to get an update on Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. This is a big day. We're going to try to raise $100,000 today. That's a lot in one day for any radio show. So yeah, it's not easy.
And y'all haven't kicked in just $10 today. Unless you're a rich guy and you're planning on 100 or 500 or whatever. But come on, everybody's got to kick in at least $10, $20. Come on. ArmstrongandGetty.com. ArmstrongandGetty.com.
Awesome.
Mailbag is coming up in a moment or two, but first we must pause and take a fond look back at the week that was. It's Cow Clips of the Week.
If you raise taxes on full sugary drinks, for example, they will drink less, and there's just no question that...
And to get hot, I got hairy legs. Okay, there you go. No, get out of here, you butter!
My goal is to get elected and then to be the last American president elected by the Electoral College.
So here's the deal, guys. My campaign for president simply does not have the financial resources to continue.
This is a facially incomplete and inadequate record in order to impeach a president. This isn't improvisational jazz. Close enough is not good enough.
So while the president can name his son Barron, he can't make him a Baron. I want to apologize for what I said earlier about the president's son. It was wrong of me to do that.
For the witnesses or additional materials.
We haven't even announced the consent request.
Too late. For the witnesses or additional materials for the record. Without objection, the hearing is adjourned.
Yeah, that's just typical, isn't it? Just typical.
Well, that was some weird shit.
Oh, that was chock full of goodness.
Probably ought to have Hillary at the end of every show,
Yeah.
Our show close.
Yeah, no kidding. That's great.
Yeah. Mailbag. How much freedom, love, and quote of the day? Final one from Andrew Johnson. As our impeachment theme rolls on, the world's weakest impeachment. Constitutional scholars have long looked at the impeachment of Johnson as haphazard and sloppy and probably a waste of time. This one has surpassed it. Said Andrew Johnson, tyranny and despotism can be exercised by many more rigorously, more vigorously, and more severely than by one. He says, look out for the tyranny and despotism of groups. This is a good point. Thank you for making it, Andy. Andy was a little soft on slavery. So I'm not,
Wow.
I'm not super enthused about, reading his quotes, but anyway, it's over. Phoenix Steve writes, Gents, just learned the new season of Jack Ryan on Amazon, which I hear is terrific, will feature a plot where the downfall of Venezuela is blamed on nationalists, not socialism, and the heroic character is a social justice college professor running against that dastardly nationalist. No malarkey. Thanks, Hollywood. It's sure to win an Emmy. Well, if that's true, I will not be watching that show. But that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's the hot new thing right now, in the right and the left. Because some people on the right that I'm into, they're just really concerned with Trump's nationalism talk and some books that are out about nationalism. So that's the scary thing that's out there right now for everybody. Nationalism. I don't understand it at all. I've listened to hours of podcasts among the smartest people. I mean, with real angels dancing on the head of a pin sort of definitions of this stuff, and I just don't understand what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, and the problem with so much of political theory is that it exists only in the classroom, and that every civilization, including this one, is it's like a stew. I mean, it's a pretty good helping of this, and it's definitely some flavoring of this, and just a little sprinkling of this, which keeps it together. And the idea that nationalism is a thing. If you have nationalism, that's all you have, and that takes over everything. That's crazy. National pride, patriotism, those things are often called nationalism, and they're good things. They're not bad.
It's similar to the way socialism gets thrown around. Well, what definition of socialism are we talking about in this instance? And I'll join your conversation.
Right. Is VA benefits socialism? Well, then I guess I'm in favor of a little bit of it. But, right, yeah, well said. Speaking of veterans and active duty military, note from Kevin. Hey, Jack and Joe. Kevin, your friendly neighborhood Fagafee, Texas Marine, with a couple of thoughts about this week. A couple days ago, we mentioned smiled.amazon.com. You can designate it to a certain percentage of your purchases that go to Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, which is great. It's not a lot of money, he points out. So make a contribution right now during the drive in addition to doing that, because it's a small amount. Times many thousands of people, it's significant. But then he says, thanks for all your support for the vets, guys. I think you do more to support us than any other radio show, and that does not go unnoticed. Well, we're just trying to do our part, Kevin. We're trying to do our duty as we see it.
And we both have family members. We both have family members, multi-generations that have served, and all their friends. So we get what's going on here.
Yeah, and I think anybody who does either have a military family or knows military families, they have that, okay, I get it. Whereas so many Americans are so divorced from our brave military members, they don't even know anything about it, which I don't think is healthy.
Hey,
so we're trying to bring you together.
Joe Biden coming up. You got to hear this.
Armstrong and Getty.
AM 760's Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon. Donate now. 800-760-KFMB.
I was just thinking that this is the most tangible, simple gift you can give to these guys, right? We all want to thank our veterans. There's a lot of ways we can do it. Maybe you're not given the opportunity every day to, but now you are. If you're thinking, gosh, I wish I could help my veterans out more often. Okay, perfect. Here we are. You're listening now. And what a way to do it than to give them a gift home for Christmas. And say, here you go, brother. Thanks, man. Go see your family. 1-800-760-KFMB. We have 10 people answering phones. And I think only 3 of them are answering it right now. So 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. I want to give a thank you to Jeffrey Olson, who is donating in honor of his wounded warrior father, Robert Olson, who served during the Korean War. Please do that. You can give an honor in memory of someone. Just let the nice volunteers know, and they'll write it down here and give it to me, and I'll give you or your family member or friend a proper shout-out. The queen, the ultimate warrior, one of my all-time favorite people, Sandy Lemcooler's here. Sandy Lemcooler's, a mile a minute at 5:30 this morning. I'm like, listen, I know it's like a 12-hour thing. I'm kind of like ramping up, going to ease into the whole thing. And Sandy's already full sprint, mad dash to the 6:00 p.m. finish line.
Navy wife, lots of coffee.
And it's as good as it can be. Sandy, we were talking earlier about this. This is a concern I have. It feels like the wars are over. We don't hear about it a lot. And my concern is people are saying the need's not there anymore. But you're in the thick of it every day. What's true?
Well, I will be honest with you. We have approximately 80 Marines still up at Building 26. And yes, maybe they're not coming home with loss of limb, but there are a lot of warriors that still come home injured. And so it's kind of like an injury that maybe is from falling off the back of a 7-ton truck, or maybe it's a motorcycle accident, but they're in our uniform and they need our help and our care. I also want to share with you one story, if I may. We had a warrior who was injured a while ago, and Balboa and Naval Medical Center San Diego, we're supposed to call it now. It's Balboa. But anyway, he was injured quite a while ago, and as he came home, they salvaged his leg. Balboa is the best limb salvage hospital that we have, and they salvaged his leg for a long time. Well, he recently lost the battle for that leg, and they had to amputate it. So we have a new amputee.
5 years later.
Exactly.
From an injury 5 years ago. Wow.
Right. So things progress, and most of the time the warriors are getting better, but there is always that need for a family to be able to come in and be with that warrior over the holiday. So Colonel Greg Martin, our new president, I assigned the task to him, and he made it all happen. It's amazing how wonderful it is to have help. And like I said, we flew the family in. I know they've got a hotel room. I know they've got a rent-a-car, and this warrior is at Balboa, and he'll be recovering quickly because he knew kind of what was coming.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know it's still important for these warriors to have that support.
Yeah.
When they're going through an illness or an injury and they're recovering, they need to have that family support. The most important thing people don't realize, though, is that the family members need to know that their warrior is going to be really okay.
Yeah. That's
They're
the second
gonna be
half of the story that I forget. Every year I forget that until you remind me here again. I think we got to get our veteran home. But it's for him. But it's you think about it, when you have your family over, it's an aunt, an uncle, it's relatives, it's cousins, and it's good for them to know that this guy is going to be okay, or this gal is going to be okay. She's going to move on in life. They're going to get jobs. They're going to have children. They're going to get married, hopefully not in that order. But at any rate, we will make sure that they are whole again. And San Diego has been with us since 2004, and I'm telling you that we touch approximately 5,400 warriors in a year, and we were honored this year again. We were selected by Charity Navigator and given a 4-star. And you know me, I'm a Navy wife. I don't just pinch a penny, I make that baby scream. Back to this guy who had his limb.
He's doing great, by the way.
Great.
He's doing great.
Amputated 5 years later. First of all, the emotional difficulty that must be for him too. But try looking him in the eyes and saying, "The war's over."
They wake up every day and look at the war. Think about it. If you're missing an arm or a leg, you wake up every day and you see that war. And the war dogs are a great, incredible group of warriors. They're battle injured. They're Purple Heart recipients. And you've talked to many of them. You know many of them that live at Freedom Station. And I can't help but share with you how much good you have made happen, how many lives you have saved. It's truly amazing when you see them accomplish. We have a guy who just got accepted at USD, and he's going to be going to special security classes. Right. The government wouldn't cover that. We made it happen.
I just got the cutoff. 1-800-760-KFMB. You've heard enough. You know what to do. 1-800-760-KFMB. Let's get our guys home for Christmas. 1-800-760-5362. Donate now.
I was looking through the list of things we could talk about today. I see the New York Times got an article, 22 things that happened for the first time in 2019. I'm intrigued by that idea.
Oh, yeah, come on. That's a good hook.
Among a bunch of other things, and of course the news of the day, and including this little dust-up that I can't wait to hear and discuss. Let's get news now with Marshall Phillips.
Well, we got the Supreme Court meeting today to consider whether the Constitution gives homeless people the right to sleep on the sidewalk. The justices are considering an appeal of a lower Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that said it was cruel and unusual punishment to enforce criminal laws against homeless people if a city doesn't offer enough shelters.
Surely the Supreme Court is going to say we don't have a constitutional right to shelter.
Provided by the government.
Surely.
Well, and ladies and germs, if you're not familiar with this issue, and we're going to be talking about this at length a little bit later on, the most lefty, communist, Che Guevara T-shirt sporting towns in America got to the point that they were so fed up with the bums and junkies clogging their downtowns, ruining their parks, rendering their bike paths unusable, committing crimes, dropping needles, taking craps in the street. I mean, we're talking your most liberal towns in America have said, that's enough. We need to do something about this. We're going to enforce the ordinances, etc. And then the Ninth Circuit Court stepped in and said, no, you can't. And so this is an enormous moment in, can the law-abiding, tax-paying citizens of their cities and their towns, can they control the towns, and can they live in those towns, or will it be taken over by the bums and junkies? Having set the table, Marshall, what else should we know?
All right, the dissenters of the Ninth Circuit ruling said it shackles the hands of public officials who are trying to address the problems of homelessness, and unless they can provide shelter for all, it's going to leave them powerless to help residents with valid complaints about the safety of their neighborhoods. The justices are going to consider the appeal behind closed doors, although they could decide today to consider the case. They're not likely to announce their final decision for at least another week.
I know that we've got a process for all this, and I know kind of why we have the process we have, but there are cases, Joe and I have talked about this for years, that need to be on some sort of super fast track. Obviously, the Supreme Court needs to decide this, and this would be one of them. The whole illegal immigration needs to get figured out. Sanctuary city and this homeless thing immediately should go to the Supreme Court and let's figure it out instead of waiting for years for these decisions.
I want to make sure I understand this. The Supreme Court is deciding whether they're going to take it up?
Yes, they're going to consider the appeal.
Which is a big deal.
Yes.
Okay. They're not trying the case. They're just deciding whether to take it. Okay.
Right.
All right. I'm glad they are finally.
Joe Biden lashed out at a voter during a campaign trail event in Iowa yesterday after the man accused the former vice president of using his political clout to get his son a job at a Ukrainian oil company as part of basically selling access to the president. Biden snapping back.
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has proved that?
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take an IQ test, okay?
What the hell?
Let's go run. Let's do push-ups together. Let's take an IQ test.
Where's my apology chain?
I'm going to wrap this apology chain around your
I'm going
head.
to wrap this chain around your head.
First of all, the guy says, yeah, people are saying that. I've seen it on TV. And Biden starts down the road of, well, that's why I'm not sedentary. He was going to take a shot at the guy for watching TV, apparently. But then he veers bizarrely into a question of who's fitter?
Yep.
Well,
what the hell?
Yeah, we need to does the whole thing exist with the question, or is the question not audible?
Well, we have the long form.
Okay, we'll have to get into that coming up, because the idea of how did your son get a job in Ukraine when he doesn't know about oil or Ukraine is a question lots of people have been asking, including prominent Democrats. Right. So to act like that's not a question is one thing. No, there has been no proof that Joe Biden did anything illegal or anything, and that was reasonable to push back against that. But he can't act like the nation isn't making jokes about his son getting that job.
Hunter, you're a loser.
Well, and listen, I understand everybody's hot to trot over the Ukraine thing because, that's obviously related to the impeachment. But when you're talking about the way it really works, and Joe Biden knows how it works, he doesn't have to, quote unquote, get Hunter Biden a job. The people who want Hunter Biden to have that job, they'll do it for themselves. But the fact that Hunter Biden, with his practically brand new investment fund, went with daddy to China, and the Chinese government says, yeah, we'll put 1.3, was it, or $1.4 billion into your investment fund because we think you're such a fine investment manager there, Hunter. I mean, come on, that's all you need to know. But that's not to suggest Joe Biden did anything provably untoward, but quit acting all holier than thou, Joe. We all know how it works. The families get rich.
And the running push-ups thing, and we'll hear this when we go play the long form, is the guy said you're too old to be president. The guy said, I'm 83, and I know I'm not what I used to be, and I don't think you are either.
Okay, so Marshall edited that clip to make Joe Biden look bad. That is the worst sort of fake news.
And the guy was interviewed afterwards.
Fake news.
And now, Armstrong and Getty attack their beloved newsman.
The guy was interviewed afterwards. He's a Bernie supporter. It's not like he's a Trump guy or something.
I should start a hedge fund.
He said Joe Biden has a wet noodle for a backbone. Harsh stuff.
I feel like I should start a hedge fund. If Hunter can pull that off, I think I can too. I'll just go around, hey, let me invest your money. That'll be my pitch.
All right. Right, yeah, playing clips from the show where you're giving the stock market update and the rest of it. Go to China, Sean. They'll probably load you up with at least $800-900 million.
All right,
unless you're trying to figure out the ins and outs of how a high-dollar strip club works, I'm not sure Hunter Biden has any expertise you need.
How to meet a stripper and keep her happy.
All right, one final quick note. U.S. employers added a robust 266,000 jobs in November. Unemployment has fallen to a 50-year low of 3.5%.
Wow. Let the good times roll, man, or elect a socialist.
And
watch it all come crashing down.
How much will you see of that in the news? The fact that unemployment hit another record low.
We'd like to cover it, but we've got all of our people on impeachment.
Yeah. All right, my friends, that's your news. I'm Marshall Phillips, the Armstrong and Getty Show, the conscience of the nation.
Hey, we have got to do a total for Warrior Foundation Freedom Station because there's been a heck of a leap. Do you guys have the ability to go farther back than I do? Did a bunch of people come in with big numbers, or is this just all little donations that have just gotten us here?
Well, it's a little bit of both. We did have a couple whale sightings. We had Jack's violin teacher contributing $1,000.
Thank you.
We had Kirk dropping in a cool 2.5 G's.
Ooh,
nice, Kirk. Thanks, buddy.
Guy on a buffalo with $500.
Oh, wow.
I like this theme. We have thieving podcaster with $250 and podcast subscription for $36. Love it.
Attaboy.
Hey, here's a couple that just came in. $100 from Jeb, please. Jeb, ! Please clap. Remember that was his sign.
Please,
Jeb, !
Please That's right. Jeb.
And also, I'd forgotten that. Jeb. That's amazing that didn't work. And also $50 from Succulent Chinese Meal.
Oh, nice. Great reference.
We got $25 from the China is a-hole guy.
He's taking a pause from his protests in Hong Kong to carve off 25 big
China
ones.
is asshole.
Thank you for the money, sir.
Oh.
Turley's Angry Golden Doodle for $25.
That's great.
Disproportionately extracted funds for another $50.
Good. Well played. Hey, everybody's got to kick in $10-20. Go to ArmstrongandGetty.com. This is for our service people. And they give and they give and they give and they give. And then when they're down, they're turning to their countrymen for just a little bit of help. And this is a 4-star charity, incredibly efficient with their funds. You can't look those service people in the face and say, no, I don't have $10-20 for you. This is a way to give efficiently. Do it, ArmstrongandGetty.com.
Shaving in the pool just gave $100. Oh, my God. That lady is shaving her legs in the pool. So, drum roll, Gladys. Let's get a total here. See where we are on our way to $500,000, I hope.
Gladys. $426,325 American dollars.
Ooh, 426. You can see 500 from there. It's a long way away and not easy to get to, but you can see it from there. Yesterday at this time, I was actually thinking, wow, we're going to fall short of a goal for the first time ever.
I don't know.
It's a long way to go.
If all of our beloved Armstrong and Getty listeners would just kick in a few bucks, we could get there. Come on.
So when are we going to do the whole Biden versus old man at Iowa at an Iowa event thing?
I mean, we could do it in a couple of minutes. I mean, if you want, we can do it next segment. It's entertaining. Hit a couple of headlines and do that. I don't know. It's Friday. Who cares?
That's the thing I haven't seen is the video. I don't have that sense of it. You said Biden stepped toward the man.
He absolutely advances on the guy. He, at the beginning of it, he'd been lurking back at like his little lectern there, which was about, the typical 10 feet from the front row. And he's kind of lingering around next to it, walking closer to the crowd at times. But then when he gets into it with the old fella, he walks clear to the front of the crowd and then into the aisle a little bit to get closer to the guy who's just a few rows back. It's unquestionably aggro male. It's the body language is unmistakable. This could come to blows, and I'm ready for it.
Really? That's your take on it, huh?
Clearly.
Do you think this guy was a plant? Do you think this is fake? They just wanted to drum up Biden as looking tough, maybe?
Hey, boy, if this is your strategy with plants, you need a better strategy.
No, they wouldn't have
Let's get a really old guy to say he even thinks he's too old.
Well, yeah, because not only did he do the too old thing, he did the Hunter Biden gas company Ukraine thing. A plant wouldn't bring that up.
Is that what got Joe's hackles up? Because, you start talking about my kid, that's going to get me riled up too. So,
yeah.
Deserve it or not. It's just kind of a natural parental instinct.
Sure.
We also have to play that Nancy Pelosi clip again. We got some text responding to it because that is a heck of a statement she made.
Oh, God. It's you can't. How do you parody that?
And
somebody saying, if the next election goes the wrong way, civilization will crumble. Okay, all right.
Plenty of non-politics stuff I definitely want to talk
from my injury, and just give me purpose again.
And your wife has been such a crucial part. I don't want to speak for you, but I assume she's been such a crucial part of your life. And you're actually the director of the caregiver program at the Warrior Foundation.
Correct.
Tell me about that, because you are such an integral part of this foundation and what you do.
Well, since meeting Mike, it's really important for caregivers to also create a community within the caregivers, because we have husbands that have gone through tremendous trauma, and to talk to my family about that, it's very difficult. So we try to connect caregivers with other caregivers, because those are people that they can really relate to. And also it's really important to give them respite throughout the year, because some of their husbands are very severely injured, quadruple amputees, double amputees, and so to get them away from the kids, out of the house, and just give them an afternoon where we cater a lunch, we actually recently catered a wonderful mimosa breakfast for the ladies. We had a little craft, a macrame class, succulent making class. Crafts and art can be incredibly therapeutic for the ladies, but it also gives them a safe space to really start to kind of talk to each other and open up to each other and share, resources with each other.
Well, just like the veterans, they've undergone certain things that we may not ever understand. Yeah. They connect with other veterans, and you connect with other caregivers, because maybe someone like me, I don't understand, because you're going through a lot as well. It's not just the men who are out there, it's the people who are back here serving and holding the family together.
And I'm just so grateful to the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station for seeing that need and acknowledging that need and creating this caregiver program. And so this is actually our first year creating the caregiver program, and so we're going to move forward and hopefully just really help out and create some more respite for our caregivers.
You have a lot on your plate handling this. Now, if someone's watching at home and they're thinking, hey, I want to get involved in this caregiver program, what can they do? How can they help, especially today?
Well, today, just calling in, definitely donating on the phones. Today is huge to send our warriors home for the holidays. And then kind of throughout the year, contact the Freedom Station. You can go online to Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, and you can sign up as a volunteer. Volunteers can do all things throughout the year, but I wouldn't mind a little help, kind of setting up for the caregiver program.
Just like, please, I need the help.
It can be a lot of work, but yes, honestly, if perhaps, monetarily you may not be able to donate, time is just as important.
Every little thing helps. Mike, you have an amazing wife, it seems like, here. We're so happy to have you, and we're so grateful for the Warrior Foundation. Again, help out today. You guys are sticking around for a little bit, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, Heather's got a check of your weather right now.
Today or any day?
Yeah. So, like, in Afghanistan, like, any step could have been my last. Like, that was how I woke up.
On
like,
a date, like on a step-to-step basis?
Yeah.
Are you aware of that, or do
Yeah.
you have to forget that?
No, like, I would actually kind of joke about it sometimes. Like, I would, like, hum to myself, and I'd look down and be like, oh, I still have both my legs still. It's a good day.
Wow. Whoa. Man, Brian, after all these years of talking, I've never heard that. Unbelievable. Okay, so you lost one.
Yeah, lost one.
You feel grateful?
Definitely, yeah. So, like, my prosthetist, Peter Harsh, like, sometimes we joke that I got the paper cut of the injuries.
Yeah.
Because
that's such a dark joke.
It is.
but right, but there's
yeah,
truth to it.
it
That's
helps.
what that
yeah,
is.
yeah, it's definitely truth to
Wow.
it because it was my I still have my sound side, and because it was a gunshot wound, I didn't have any secondary injuries to my other leg.
Oh, interesting.
So, like unlike a lot of amputees, I actually had a solid base to start off with.
Whoa. Okay. We'll talk more about this later,
Okay.
but that's unbelievable. 1-800-760-KFMB.com. Let's donate money so that people like Brian, who, I mean, we talk, you've heard this word, like, go into harm's way, and all, like no. Like, you just heard that. Like, that's a new level than I've ever even dreamed of. 1-800-760-KFMB.com to donate to get these guys home for Christmas. Were you given a plane ticket home before?
I have, yes.
What's
I
that mean?
received
Can you help us understand that?
It is. There's a lot of things that the hospital can do for physical recovery, but like for that emotional support, there isn't really anything like being able to see your family again, especially during the holidays when it's supposed to be like this togetherness that you're supposed to be celebrating. So being able to like have, for the guys that have been injured, like their world has been turned upside down, and just being able to go back home, visit family with that sense of normality, like that's a huge emotional gift to receive.
1-800-760-KFMB. Want to thank Alma Stentz for donating in honor of her husband of 30 years who passed away a couple of years back. Thank you, Alma. And Danette Marmolojo, I mispronounced it, I apologize, but to her father, Charles, who's an Army veteran during World War II, and her uncle, Jim, who died in World War II as well. You can donate in honor and memory of someone as well when you donate, and we'll announce it on the air. 1-800-760-KFMB, and you're given to Brian and great heroes like him. 1-800-760-KFMB.
The Armstrong and Getty Show.
Half step up, please. Jeez, go just a half step.
I am.
There was one note in there that really did something to me internally.
Oh, I'm struggling to tune this thing because it is out of tune. And,
couldn't tell.
So we're going to use the legendary violin trombone duet later in the show to raise more money for Warrior Foundation.
Freedom Station.
And we're trying to get to $500,000 today, and I've been hanging out with Sandy, who runs the whole thing, and she's pretty excited about the money coming in, but I definitely want to hit the $500,000. That's why the fiddle is here. More on that later.
Yeah, so among our headlines today, I don't know about y'all, but man, I use the Uber and the Lyft a fair amount.
It's awesome. It's one of the most amazing, this is what America is all about, things that have happened in my entire life. Just a complete upending of an industry with just
Something
good
better.
ideas. Yeah, something better. Something better comes along, and and everybody loves it. It's so fantastic.
And there are plenty of those who are seeking to kill it, and they are bribing their legislators to kill it so they can keep making money. That's not why we have a government, not to protect your business. Anyway, Uber has done a major study of safety among their riders, which is admirable. It's a good thing. The headline that's getting a lot of attention is they've disclosed over 3,000 reports of sexual assault on rides last year in a long-awaited safety study. And, I need to dive into the study because I have a few unanswered questions, but The lengthy report divides sexual misconduct into 21 different categories, which is great. That's smart. That's something the over-the-top activists don't want to do. They want an unwanted joke to be listed in the same category as rape so that they can make, the problem seem even worse and get more power to do, change more rules or whatever. But anyway.
So does this headline making 3,000 sexual assaults include all those different kinds?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Gotcha.
They focused on the 5 most serious, and Uber said it recorded 235 rapes last year and 1,000 more reports of assault that could involve unwanted touching, kissing, or attempted rape. The reports involve drivers and passengers, and I may have missed this because this just came out and I've read it quickly. I'm trying to figure out how many of these unwanted touching or attempted rape were like passengers trying to grab the drivers, because the first thing I picked, because I get nervous when my mom or my wife or my daughter or whatever is taking one of these things, and I don't know the driver. They got 4.8 stars. Good for them. But I'd imagine, I think the drivers are probably more at risk. Don't you think? They have to be.
A group of drunk girls that you pick up hitting on a young college dude driving the car, I could see that happening regularly.
Drivers report sexual assaults about the same rate as passengers do.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
Hey, I don't want to go any further without mentioning this, just because this has got to be in every headline or people are not doing their journalistic duty. This is out of 1.3 billion rides.
Right. Well said.
1.3 billion rides. That's an insane number.
0.0003% of trips report a critical safety incident.
I mean, that is just absolutely astounding. And also, I didn't get deep into the article. I just read like the first couple of paragraphs, and then I saw other headlines where they mention the number of sexual assaults, the 9 murders, but don't mention 1.3 billion rides. I'll bet there are 9 murders in 1.3 billion
anything.
The babysitters or anything you could come
Trips
up with.
To the convenience store, exactly, attending a high school basketball game.
Yeah,
they also mentioned to that point they averaged more than 3.1 million trips per day.
Wow.
Through 2017, 2018, the period that they were studying. 97 fatal crashes involving users on the app in a 2-year period with 3.1 million trips per day. That seems pretty reasonable.
I also wanted to, did they compare it to, do we have the numbers for taxis? Because my own personal experience, and I'm not, my own personal experience is I've been scared many times by cab drivers, never by an Uber driver. That's my personal traveling experience throughout my life.
Bored and or annoyed by Uber drivers, yes, but never frightened by them.
I've had scary cab drivers.
By the way, Lyft is pledging to release their report as soon as it's done as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've had, you know what? It's not a huge majority, but I'm thinking a majority of cab drivers I've ridden with in my life have freaked me out on one level or another. And I'm a full-grown, reasonably physically capable American male. I don't know how it is for, a diminutive woman. So anyway, good for you being open, Uber.
How are people reacting to this, though? I mean, what is this? How many murders should you have out of 1.3 billion rides?
There should be no murders, Jack.
Well, I'm
taking
I
a hard
agree.
stance.
Yeah, what kind of question is that? Are you pro-murder? What's the matter with you?
But like I said, there have been 9 murders in 1.3 billion rodeos, in 1.3 billion, I don't know, science classes. Anything you could come up with. I'm sure there have been 9 murders.
Uber's report looked at 2017, 2018. 99.9% literally of rides had no problem. During the 2-year period, more than 1 million prospective drivers failed to advance through the screening process.
There's a screening process.
More than 3/4 failed the motor vehicle record portion of the test and didn't advance to the criminal screening stage. Meanwhile, Uber has booted more than 40,000 drivers since rolling out continuous screening, which ensures ongoing compliance.
Cool.
I feel perfectly comfortable with the Ubers and the Lyfts.
We are going to give you the long-form version of the Joe Biden dust-up with the old man in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to hear that. I want to hear the full thing.
Old man fight.
Armstrong and Getty.
Here's a reminder, when you need to know, all you need to know is AM 760 KFMB San Diego.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We're getting new details on a deadly shooting at the U.S. Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida. WKRG TV's Jessica Toloni.
The latest breakdown of the numbers that we have, 2 people dead in addition to the shooter who was also dead this morning. We're working on checking with those area hospitals to see if we can get any more information about those who have been injured, how serious those injuries may be.
Correspondent Cammie McCormick has more from the Pentagon.
This sprawling base employs thousands, both military and civilian, and it's home to the Blue Angels. This shooting follows one at Pearl Harbor earlier this week. A sailor killed 2 people before taking his own life.
The White House says President Trump has been briefed on today's shooting, says he is monitoring developments. The new jobs report shows the economy is booming. 266,000 jobs were added in November. Analysts were only expecting 180,000. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
There does not appear to be any single area that stands out or any single reason for the job gains. What we see is broad-based monthly gains in healthcare and in professional and technical services. We also saw employment in manufacturing go up. Of course, that was the return of those workers from the strike at GM.
Unemployment overall at a 50-year low of 3.5%. Markets opened higher on the news. The Dow is up 288 points in early trading. Riders are reacting to Uber's first ever safety report. It documents more than 3,000 sexual assaults in 2018.
That's absolutely shocking, and I would not trust my family members to be riding in an Uber or a Lyft.
19 more women sued Lyft this week, alleging sex assaults. Teenagers don't seem to be getting the message about the dangers of tobacco. Here's correspondent Gary Nunn.
As popularity of vaping climbs, 1/3 of American teens, according to the CDC, say they smoke some form of tobacco, including cigarettes or cigarillos. Researchers say concerns over nicotine addiction among teens are not limited to e-cigarettes. Young people generally don't seem alarmed over e-cigs, despite questions about vaping-related illnesses and deaths. Public health officials are concerned, saying that past progress in weaning teens away from these products has been wiped out.
It was the wrong move for corrections trainees in West Virginia. They gave the Nazi salute in a graduation photo. State Delegate Rodney Miller.
Absolutely unacceptable. I don't know what anyone in this day and time would be thinking to do something like that.
Some state workers have been suspended, others fired. This is CBS News.
CBS News Radio is your home for breaking news. With our team of reporters around the country and the world, we give you the coverage you can trust.
Hey, Mark Larson here from our friends at Life Source Water Systems, the first whole house water filtration system to not use salt. It's no maintenance, no salt to add, no filters to change, no muss, no fuss. This isn't just a filter system for your drinking water. It protects your water-based appliances from scale buildup, and it treats hard water without having one of those nasty water softeners. Life Source Water. Taste and feel the difference as we do, as we enjoy. Call 619-350-8499 or go to lifesourcewater.com.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME. That's 833-REX-HOME. Licensed real estate broker, DRE number 01976010. Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
The Marical Design and Remodeling family knows there's no place like home for the holidays. This year, we hope you enjoy the blessings of family and friends and all the comforts of home.
Whether it's a lazy weekend morning or a fast-paced workday, your body needs good food to start the day off right. The Broken Yolk Cafe has 15 San Diego locations, so there's one close to you. Go to brokennyokecafe.com. Life begins after breakfast.
Now, from the studios of News 8, live, local, San Diego's talk and breaking news. This is AM 760.
The mayor fights climate change. I'm 760's Alan Lee, and that's one of the stories we're following.
760.
The South 805 connector to the East 8 shut down. It's the end of a police pursuit. Traffic is sponsored by Top of the Market on San Diego Bay. The Top of the Market on San Diego Bay is now offering holiday gift cards for luncheons or dinners with family, friends, and clients this season. Details and reservations at sdtopofthemarket.com. Mayor Kevin Faulkner is now part of a countrywide coalition of mayors to help combat climate change. Faulkner is joining the Climate Mayor Steering Committee, which consists of mayors from more than 24 major cities. Congress's Committee on Ethics is recommending Representative Duncan Hunter refrain from voting in the House following his guilty plea. They said any representative convicted of a crime carrying a sentence of more than 2 years should refrain from voting. Cloudy and 55 at Lindbergh Field, AM 760 Talk and Breaking News. Now it's Armstrong and Getty.
Welcome. How you doing? Thank you for tuning into the Armstrong and Getty Show. Hope you are well, and we hope you've gotten a chance to contribute to Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. Just take 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And if you haven't given yet, just $10, $20, whatever you can spare. I mean, those of you who are real patriots, real believers, you understand the organization, you value what it does. If you can give more than that, great. Please do.
Why am I not being allowed on the air?
Well,
am I on the air now?
Frankly, we've had enough of you.
Okay.
There's some sort of
Michael, allow me on the
malfunction.
air.
Somebody
Allow me to
donated.
be on the air,
Jack.
Somebody donated, a substantial amount, Jack, and asked us to turn off your mic.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we had to honor it.
I get it.
So anyway, go to ArmstrongandGetty.com.
So as I was saying to myself with no one listening, we have a guest coming up that's absolutely amazing, who has benefited from Warrior Foundation Freedom Station that is going to move the needle if it hasn't already, because he's got a hell of a story.
And we have been making some requests for businesses to get involved, and I think, Jack, you'd be happy to know that Henry's Bunk Bed Storage Facility, LLC, has donated $50.
I'd forgotten that story until somebody did that he was leasing out his top bunk to his older brother for storage space. That's funny.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
So
that's
on
beautiful.
the on the Joe Biden thing, let's set the scene, as they say in the scene-setting business. So I stole that line from the great Steve Allen comedian. I heard that as a kid, and I've thought it was funny ever since. But anyway, so an 83-year-old voter in Iowa stands up at one of these events and has something to say to Joe Biden during the whole No Malarkey bus tour.
She's damn right. He had something to say. He's going to give him the business.
And it's worth knowing the guy's 83, and then we'll play the whole thing for you. And if there's any details that are left out, I'll fill them in at the end. But they got into it a little bit.
I'm an old Iowa retired farmer. I'm kind of unique because I'm not a Republican. Okay. I've got two problems with you. One is you're damn near as old as I am. You're too old. The job.
Awesome.
I'm 83, and I know damn well I don't have the mental faculties I did when I was 30 years ago. All right, the other, forget that stuff. That's all.
I'm not forgetting that. I'll answer it.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. I got a question I want you to answer. We all know Trump has been messing around in the Ukraine over there, holding their foreign aid for them to come up saying they're going to investigate you. We know all about that crap. And he's no backbone. We know that for that. But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there to get a job and work for a gas company that he had no experience with gas or nothing in order to get access for the president. So you're You're selling access to the president just like he was. So
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has proved that?
I
No.
see it on the TV.
You see it on the
All I
TV.
got to do is watch
No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time.
Let
and I
him
know
sprung.
more than
Let him
most people
sprung.
know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take an IQ test, okay?
Yeah, I like push-ups.
Number one. Number two. No one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Not
I
one.
didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
That's what I hear on MSNBC. All of
You
it.
don't hear that on MSNBC.
The hell I didn't.
You did not hear that at all. What you
I didn't.
heard. Okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to either.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, Fat. Look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
All right, pause it. That moment there is the cause of controversy. Did he just say, "Look, fatty," or did he start to say, "Look, fat man," or did he just stumble?
I haven't seen the video. Is the guy heavy?
He's quite zoftic, yes. Indeed. Look,
okay,
fathead.
Okay, so I read
Fat
this,
ass.
and somebody said that he was saying facts, but facts wouldn't make any sense
I'm
there.
going to get in an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to either.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, Fat. Look, here's the deal.
Look, fat.
Here's the deal.
He didn't. He didn't.
But
this
look,
is
fat.
also stupid. This is also dumb, but it's entertaining as
Well,
heck.
yeah, it's entertaining. It doesn't mean anything. But
I mean, some fat old farmer who's got stories kind of half right, throw him at Biden getting all pissy. That's entertaining. It doesn't mean anything.
no,
but
get your story straight, Jack.
that's good. All right, just another little bit of it. Come on.
More backbone than Trump does when you're selling.
Oh, that was a key phrase there, Sean. Make sure we hear that, huh?
Look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does when you're selling.
Shut up, fathead. Go to hell.
Any other
fathead.
questions?
Yeah, all right.
And then it just kind of.
Well, I knew you weren't, man. You think I thought you'd stand up and vote for me? You're too old to vote for me.
So
All
I
right,
got a
here we
laugh.
go.
But what did that mean? You're too old to vote for me. What did that mean?
I don't. It was an attempt at a shot or a witticism that didn't work.
So
I don't know.
More of a Perry trying to
oh,
position
yeah, I'm
himself.
too old, or you're too old to vote for me.
Yeah,
Sure,
younger
that's-
people get that. I feel like it was one of those sort of things.
Okay,
Nah,
boomer.
well.
Hey, boomer.
If you got to
Fat
explain
boomer.
it.
Okay, fat.
Oh, no,
you
no,
can't just call somebody fat.
It wasn't effective, but I think that's what he was trying to do.
Right.
Early on, so the guy actually says, I didn't catch that. So the guy actually says you sold the influence or something like that. Well, I can
Essentially,
understand.
yeah.
I can understand coming back hard against that, and nobody's seriously making that claim. The other stuff about his son not being qualified for the job is clearly true and is everywhere on every channel. But when Biden says no, let him go, or let him up, or whatever, there are a couple of Secret Service guys have him down, beating him, or what is going on at that
No,
point?
they're the folks organizing the thing were trying to get the mic away from him.
Okay.
During the more heated part of it, though, Biden is unmistakably advancing toward the man, which I found a little uncomfortable. I mean, because you can have an argument from the distance that y'all are at right there. You don't have to get closer and closer and closer to the guy, but that's what Biden did.
How
Of course, he was
were
a
they?
scrapper and a brawler, man. He'd wrap chains around people's heads and fight them with bent, rusty knives.
He was a for real guy who would get in fights with people when he was young.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But how close together were they, old men, at that one point?
They weren't close enough to throw punches. A little too far apart to throw blows, but damn near close enough. So anyway, again, anybody tries to make anything of that, they're just being silly.
No, it's just funny. It's just funny and entertaining.
Two oldsters arguing with each other, both of them kind of half making sense, half not making sense.
Biden using fun, old-timey expressions like, get your facts straight, Jack.
Right, exactly. So I tell you what, it did not make Biden look any younger, though, in spite of his insistence that he was ready for a push-up throwdown right there and then. But On we go.
Is somebody going to take him up on that at some point, I wonder? We remember when Marshall couldn't do his push-ups, we got all those emails and texts from, I'm 80 years old and I do 50 push-ups before, sunrise every day and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, Biden might challenge one of these old guys like that, and all of a sudden he's doing push-ups. I hope he can actually do them. Maybe he can.
Well, that would be exciting.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. You get a couple of old men on the ground doing push-ups and people counting. That would be very entertaining. 1, 2, the whole crowd's counting together, seeing which old man can go the longest.
Well, and according to Nancy Pelosi, the very idea of civilization hinges on this election. Therefore, the very idea of civilization hangs on whether the old man can knock out some push-ups, which is really a hell of a situation for a superpower to be in.
But we have such a great guest in terms of someone who's benefited from Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. I want to leave plenty of time for that. So we're going to talk to him coming up in a little bit, and we should probably do an update. If you haven't given yet, we'll give right before we get to the update. Just go to ArmstrongandGetty.com. It only took Marshall 90 seconds to donate, and he's not exactly a computer whiz.
He's a bit of an old Iowa farmer himself, if you hear me.
But we're looking pretty good today. We're trying to get to $500,000. Yeah, that's a haul in 5 shows. That's a lot of money. Maybe when you hear this next story, you'll want to donate on the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Armstrong and Getty.
We're raising a bunch of money today for our veterans at Warrior Foundation Freedom Station.
Let's get back to the radio. If you haven't yet, what's the holdup? Just do it right now. You may have just woken up a little groggy, but call the phones. Pick up the phone and call these volunteers here who are waiting for your call. 1-800-760-KFMB. Here with Josue. Josue, I feel like we haven't seen each other in a while, man, but it's good to see you again, brother. Can you describe for our radio audience your injuries?
Well, I was injured in 2000 and sang in Afghanistan in 2010. I stepped on a landmine and lost my left leg, my left eye, and took shrapnel to my right eye.
What do you remember about that day?
I mean, I just remember, being on a foot patrol, and next thing you know, we hit a canal, and coming out of that canal, me and my engineer just blew up. Boom. That was it. And I remember when I got hit, trying to put a tourniquet, the guys around me helping me with the medevac.
Wow.
And once that helicopter picked me up, I was asleep. They put me to sleep.
Is that interesting that you remember even that part of it? Is that more unique?
I mean, it's unique, but, I never felt like a lot of guys think that they're going to die. I never felt like I was going to die.
Interesting.
I just felt like it was a small injury to me.
Even your eye?
Yeah, I was blind automatically. As soon as the blast exploded, it hit both my eyes. So I was blind at the moment. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, not, because I don't have a picture of how it looked.
Yes.
A lot of guys, they don't get eye injuries, so they're looking at everything. So for me, I feel like as soon as I got hit, I was completely blind. And
couldn't see your leg.
I couldn't see my leg. Yeah.
Okay, just so you know, these are the guys you're donating to. 1-800-760-KFMB. When did it hit you on what the reality of what's to come for your life?
You know what? The reality that when it really hit me was a couple months later when I was discharged from the hospital.
Wow.
Me and my wife they put us on base housing. And as soon as we got home, the house was so quiet. There was no nurse. There was not a nurse. Yes. There was nobody around. That me and my wife just broke down. And we're like, did this really just happen to us? Wow. And that was a couple of months after my injury. Oh, it was just me and her alone about to start our lives, just me and her.
Yes. Wow, that's so powerful. In the movie I'm making up in my head, I would imagine it would hit maybe when you wake up in the hospital bed. Or maybe even if you came back to America, you're in Balboa. No, it was after all that. After the beeps and the machines and the nurses and the people fussing over you.
Yeah, everything, even with like PTSD, a lot of my friends, they don't come right away. It takes time, and they're out in the world doing their thing. They're on their own now, and a lot of these things kick in.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, this is where Warrior Foundation steps up, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, just having the Warrior Foundation, having a group of individuals that are going through the same thing as you, in the same place, helps a lot.
And we don't have time right now to talk about wheelchair basketball, but we will later. But that gives you that tribalness, right? That community.
Yeah, because when I got hit and I left my unit, they were still in Afghanistan.
That's brutal,
and I felt like I left them behind. So I get back home, and now I'm looking for my purpose again. I'm looking for what I'm gonna do next. So just finding a group of guys there, I kind of felt like I was back home with my guys.
So you lived in LA, or your family's from LA, so you never got a plane ticket home. But what did that mean to the guys who did?
I mean, I think just sending the guys back home while they're going through the hardest times of their lives, they need that support system. And I'm not talking about the nurses or their the hospital. I'm talking about their families. They need to be home with them. And you see the difference when they send them back home and they come back. They come back with more energy, and they're ready to start their PT, their recovery, and they're excited.
Yeah, it's so wild to think about. So the doctors can give all the best medicine and care in the world, but it's like a prescription for home. It's it's like spend the week at home. That's the best thing we can do for you right now.
No, and a lot of the guys, they have to be at the hospital. It's kind of like their place of duty that they got to be in. So just getting that window of opportunity to go home, it makes a huge impact.
1-800-760-KFMB. This is Josue. He's the man. And pretend like you're giving, or you have been, and you are giving directly to him and men like him, and giving them a plane ticket home and saying thank you for your service. 1-800-760-KFMB. $5 a week sends a guy home. 1-800-760-KFMB. Back to A&G.
The Armstrong and Getty Show.
Hey, tell Jack. Oh, sorry.
So welcome, the Armstrong and Getty Show. 1 week a year, we ask for money. And when we started doing this years ago, we decided it has to be a really good cause if we're going to ask people for money. And this is a good cause, and they're really careful with their money, as good as any charity that's out there, highest ratings as you can get. Look it up yourself if you'd like to. It's called Warrior Foundation Freedom Station.
Yeah, indeed, and there just could not be a better use of your patriotic dollars than to help our young service people when they need it the most. Jack, I do not have that piece of information. I thought I did, so I'll let you handle that.
Okay, so we've got a Marine that's joining us today. Brian Riley's on the show, but thanks for joining us, Brian. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And so I've already heard your story. I'm trying to make sure, I want to make sure it comes out in the most compelling way possible. Well, what was your job when you were in the Marines?
I was a point man for a reconnaissance team, meaning that while we were on patrol, I was the first man in the file.
And what often happens to that person?
The point man had about a 90% casualty rate, and of those people injured, 70 to 80% of them were double or triple amputees.
Now, so does that mean that 90% of the people that have that job are going to end up injured?
Yes, one way or another.
Wow. And of those?
Most of them will be amputees, yeah.
Wow.
At least while I was deployed. It might have changed since then.
Did you know that when you did you volunteer for that position, or did somebody say this is your job and you just take it? How does that even work?
I volunteered for that position. I knew the odds when I was going into it, and so like pretty much the entire 2 years of the workup prior to my deployment, I had time to like come to terms with the chance that I had a 90% chance of being injured, and of that high stakes, it'd be an amputation.
And what did happen to you?
Well, I wound up...
And this is where? This is...
In Afghanistan, Sangin Valley, Afghanistan. So I actually wound up being pretty lucky. All I had was a gunshot wound. It hit me about 3 inches above the ankle, so now I'm a left below the knee amputee. So I went to Afghanistan expecting to be down 3 limbs, but I only lost 1. And because it was a gunshot wound, I didn't have any secondary injuries to my other leg, so I actually had a easier time than most other amputees learning how to walk again.
So we absolutely need to get to the whole, how Warrior Foundation Freedom Station played into your life, because that's why we're here and we're raising money and all that. But I got to get back to the mindset of why do you volunteer for a job like that? Is it because you feel like somebody's got to do it? I want to do it, or did you? I honestly wonder. Do you think it's not going to happen to me?
No. I knew it was going to. I didn't know, but I basically felt like it was going to happen. So I volunteered for it because I figured I'd be the best person for the job. I thought I had the best chance of making it through, which, I mean, I was kind of right because I didn't get blown up, but I was shot. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, I volunteered for it. I turned down a few billet promotions. Like that would have just basically been, I could have been like a radio operator or assistant radio operator. So I would have been in a different spot.
Less likely to have your legs blown off.
Much less likely.
Yeah.
So, I could have done any of that, but I volunteered to be the point man.
Wow. Brian, is it possible for me to somehow get a little of you? I don't know how exactly. I don't know if that would be a blood transfusion or if I could just hug you for a long time and absorb some of your courage, but I love that. You knew you would be great at the job, and you're too modest to say it, but you knew if the point man is great at their job, that's going to save lives.
Right.
There you have it.
Yeah, so think about that when this weekend you're complaining about how rough your life is with Christmas coming and traffic in the mall and everything. Jeez.
Wow.
Anyway, so when does Warrior Foundation Freedom Station come into your life?
They came into my life around 2012. I'd basically done all the physical recovery I could do at the hospital, so my chain of command knew that I wanted to get out of the military, so they suggested that I go to Warrior Foundation Freedom Station so I could start getting used to regular life again, paying bills, parking on the right side of the street so I don't get parking tickets, like all the civilian stuff that I hadn't really had to worry about for a few years. And so I've been living there since 2012, and it's been great just because it really did help readjust to the real world again, because some guys, like, they've never had to pay rent or a mortgage or car payments before, so like coming to Freedom Station and like having to have personal accountability with my finances really prepared me. And it was also a great way because, like, some guys, they really want they enjoy the community aspect of it, and I enjoy that as well, like having veterans for neighbors. But the huge part for Freedom Station is, like, it was like a little sanctuary for me. I could get away from the noise of the world at the same time.
Well, and Brian, we know, and we don't have a ton of time to talk about this, but it's really, really difficult for a guy like you who's as dedicated as you were, has as intense a relationship with the guys you're serving with as you do, the sort of job you have, to transition to the stupidity of the civilian world. that really crushes some people's spirits sometimes, and I know having the guys around you has got to help.
It really does, yes.
Yeah, I know my brother talks about that. He's a veteran of combat, and when he comes back, it's just always just so annoying to him.
Right.
just the everyday grind and things that people get upset about.
Yeah,
like I was just talking
definitely
about. When you've been in certain situations and you're working with people complaining about the day-to-day nonsense, it can make you insane. And Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, in all kinds of different ways, mentally and physically, letting people be. It's that buffer zone between combat and real and normal civilian life that hasn't existed in our country for some reason.
So a guy like Brian, who's given and given and given, and there are thousands like him, are now coming back to us and getting on with their lives, and they just need a little bit of help. And Warrior Foundation Freedom Station is a 4-star charity organization that provides that help on your behalf, my friends. So give $10, give $10,000, whatever you can give. But for goodness sakes, we owe it as Americans to support these guys.
Brian Riley, thank you for your service. Thanks for coming on today. You did a service even today.
Thank you for your
Appreciate
support.
that. Yeah, go to ArmstrongandGetty.com to donate. We're going to hit $500,000 today. That's our goal. It was very ambitious.
Come on, let's do this.
I think we're going to make it. Marshall's got his news coming up in just a moment, and we'll get back to that stuff, the regular world. But go to ArmstrongandGetty.com right now. Donate while that story is fresh in your mind.
Armstrong and Getty.
Now let's head out to Studio A for the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon with Mike Slater.
I just can't get over talking to Brian that his job had a 90% casualty rate. And what do you say, 50% of the guys, when they get injured, it's like a double or triple amputee. And every day, who would do that job? We talk about guys who, police officers who run to danger and firefighters who run into the fire. and even these guys who know what they're signing up for. But that is literally every day I'm going to doing a job that almost everyone is injured when they do and will lose a leg or more or their lives. And these are the guys who you're helping. These are the guys who you're sending home for Christmas. These are the guys who you're giving this gift and a thank you for. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362 to donate and to give. And A&G have done such a fantastic job this last couple days. But be a part of it. Join it. Give your donation. And also, if you want to donate in honor or memory of someone, you can, of course, do that as well. Just let them know. And then the volunteers wearing reindeer antlers, they pass it off to me just a couple feet away. And I'll be sure to read who you would like this donation in honor or memory of. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. I'm also super grateful that Sandy reminds me every single year. I forget about this. I think of the gift for these guys, right? So we just talked to Josue, who lost an eye and his right leg. So I think of that gift for him to go home and see his family. But I forget about the other side of that. That's only half the equation. I forget about his family and the gift that it is to them and to mom. So we got any moms and dads listening right now who are so proud of their son or daughter for serving and then gets injured and they live across the country. They're healing across the country. And I remember we've talked to some guys and they haven't seen their son for years. They're deployed in hospitals around the world, back here in Balboa, across the country. I haven't seen him in years. And you get to send him home for Christmas. Think about that. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. I know we also think about, how can I wish I could do more. I wish I could help our veterans more, especially here in San Diego. There's no city that has more veterans in the whole country than right here. Maybe we do the old thing where you see them at a restaurant, you can pay for their meal or something, but you don't see that too often, I guess. But here it is right now. This is your chance. A&G have been talking to these guys all week and all morning, and you know them. You know them well now. 1-800-760-KFMB. Let's get the phones ringing. 1-800-760-5362. And be sure to, if you want to donate in honor or memory of anyone, to let them know, and we'll announce that on the radio too. 1-800-760-KFMB, 1-800-760-5362. I want to cue up Perry's story. This is who you're donating.
My name is Perry Price. I was lost when I lost my leg. One of the things the Warrior Foundation did for me was they sent me home for the holidays last Christmas. And I did not have the funds for it. I didn't have the money. But when they said, listen, we're sending our troops home, we're sending our veterans home for the holidays, I was like, yes, it was amazing. Go home and to see my family and see friends. And it was just great around the holidays. And I knew that it wouldn't have happened had not the Warrior Foundation stepped up and provided that for me.
Help send a hero home for the holidays. Call now, 1-800-760.
Now I get to have my own house where I have my own responsibilities like cleaning, paying rent, making sure like the water is taken care of, everything like that. So it really does help me adjust back to being in the real world.
They do so many amazing things for our veterans. So in Afghanistan, when you served and you were shot in the leg, your job itself had a 90% casualty rate. And just to think that you were doing this job for our country is amazing.
Right. And I did go into it knowing it, so I had plenty of time to prepare myself for the injury, so I had a lot easier time transitioning than a lot of other amputees.
So you kind of just knew like something was going to happen to you.
Right.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. But thank you so much for your service. What happened to you? How were you shot in the leg?
It was during a combat patrol in Afghanistan, Sangin Valley. We were just ambushed. I caught a round 3 inches above my ankle, and it wound up being a left below the knee amputation.
I cannot thank you enough for your service. Mike Slater joins me now. I know both you and I are like speechless. Like it's amazing that somebody would take this job.
Every day he woke up knowing that
Yeah, something was gonna
90%.
happen.
Everyone in HIP says 90% of them, and usually they'll use more than that. Brian's so super humble. He calls this a paper cut injury because most of these guys have lost 2-3 limbs or more.
I can't believe this.
Check this out. We're at 491 right now. So right now, if you call in, you can get us over $500,000 right now. Now, one thing, last time we talked about how this is a gift for these guys to go home and heal spiritually, emotionally, not just physically, but it's also a gift for their families.
Yes.
Some of these moms and dads haven't seen their baby boy in years, and this is a gift for them and their brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and cousins and everyone to see Brian and to see their son, to see their brother back home. Oh, what a Christmas! What a gift!
This is the biggest fundraiser of the year, so we want to send as many of our service members back home. How much should we expect to raise today? Because we have until 6 p.m.
We had a goal of $500,000, and we're ahead. We're ahead right now.
Yeah.
Because we had to go for another hour or so to hit that. So we're gonna hit that really early. Last year we raised over $1 million.
Oh yes, so a goal of one point. Let's go to 2 million.
There you go. Now
let's go to 2 million.
stuff.
Brian, thank you so much for your service. You are definitely so humble, and I'm just so honored to be in your presence.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Heather, Eric, back to you.
Soft-spoken, but a huge job he accomplished.
Keep that money coming in.
Every single dollar makes a
It really
huge
does.
difference. It really does. So those phone lines are ready to take your call right now. San Diego's biggest winter holiday event. It's here December 9th. It begins later today in Balboa Park.
This is such
robbing a jewelry store and shooting a woman there. Then police say they kidnapped a UPS driver and used his truck as a getaway vehicle in the high-speed chase. Packages flying out of the truck as they ripped around on the roadways, littering the highway with an armada of police cars close behind. The ordeal ended in a hail of bullets.
Well, and I tell you what, and cops know this if they've seen the tape, that shootout took place in a terrible situation.
Yep.
Way too many bystanders. It was in a crowded area of traffic. Cars and trucks stopped at traffic lights or what have you. Oh, it was terrifying. The fact that there weren't multiple bystanders hurt and or killed is just a tribute to the training and skill of the peace officers who were on the scene. It's practically unbelievable that there wasn't a huge loss of life there. Well done, fellas.
A flesh-eating bacteria linked to the use of heroin has killed at least 7 people in
That's
Southern
a bad
California.
name for a bacteria, you know? That's a particularly troubling name. Well, I like it because it tells you pretty much what you're dealing with right from up front.
Right.
There's no dancing around. It's like Ebola. What's Ebola now? No, flesh-eating bacteria tells you right up front what's happening.
Indeed it does. The San Diego area health officials report 9 people who injected black tar heroin between October 2nd and November 24th were hospitalized with infections.
Got the FEB.
Yep, the soft tissue infection that destroys muscles. 7 have already died. 13 people in Southern California have been diagnosed with the wound botulism, is the other way they're terming it.
Well, if I can avoid it by not doing black tar heroin, I'm in pretty good shape today.
Yep. State law enforcement agencies
There goes my afternoon.
across the state trying to find the source of the heroin. And more bad news for R. Kelly. A new indictment filed yesterday in New York federal court.
I saw that.
Accusing the embattled R&B star of bribing an Illinois official in 1994 in order to get a fake ID for an unnamed female. Now, the next day, Kelly married 15-year-old singer Aaliyah in a secret ceremony with falsified paperwork that said she was 18.
Married, using my finger quotes, a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on in his crazy mind?
Yeah, the marriage was...
Is he still on the streets? Or is he incarcerated?
I think he is still behind bars.
I believe
but
he got
I'm not-
arrested. I'll double check.
Yeah,
All right.
double check that one. Anyway, the marriage was later annulled because of Aaliyah's age. So it just keeps going on and on and on. Kelly was 27 at the time when he married her.
He, Prince Andrew, and all need to hang out in Jeffrey Epstein's cell for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's a wrap. That's your news. I'm Marshall Phillips, the Armstrong and Getty Show, the conscience of the nation.
R. Kelly is already scheduled to stand trial in April. He is being held without bail.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
So we got to do an update. We got no choice here.
Do we?
We got, yeah. It's, well, do you want to hear a big number? Do you like big numbers?
I kind of do.
Yeah. We need
I don't want to take the carrot down.
Yeah, I agree. So we got $22 from Eric Swalwell's musical Sphincter.
That was not him.
That's
great. That was Chris Matthews.
And with that donation, we went over the top of our goal of $500,000.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
$500,636. That would have been better if I didn't mess it up.
Yeah, well, go
But
ahead.
it's over
don't worry about it.
$500,000, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we had a whale in there, Tom Kemper with 1,000,
We've had
others.
a bunch of whales come through. Glenn with $2,000, Will and Courtney with 1,000, Stupid Shit Hurt with 1,500.
Yes,
right. Lodi Wine with 2,000, Candy with 1,000, Women Who Wine with 1,500.
Yes, the
Ingrid
drinkers.
with 2,020, Christy with 1,000, Ross with 1,000, Diane with 1,000. David with 1,000, and this might be my favorite name that's donated so far. Stupid Should Hurt, Service Should Not contributed $200.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
All right.
awesome. We just got $47 from Tongue Cutting Butter Knife, which was one of my great stories.
Oh my God! Wow, the memory you people have is astounding to me.
Things that happened to me that I've forgotten. You referenced. It's just hilarious.
That was awful.
Oh, that's a bad story. I hate thinking about it.
Hey, listen. Here's why I didn't want to take the carrot from in front of the horse, and apologies for the really demeaning metaphor. If you have not yet kicked in $10-20 to Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, which is this incredible 4-star charity that serves our troops, please do. I mean, just an inconsequential amount. If you can afford more, do it. Just because we hit our goal, I mean, that was just a number we dreamed up. Let's help these guys out now, please. Let's not stop giving.
Like our idle daiquiri machine chipping in $50.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I don't know if this means anything or not, but if in this modern world where we are seeking tribes because we don't have a sense of community, maybe you get a little sense of community out of people who listen to this show really support veterans, and you're part of that community. I mean, I definitely feel that way. I don't know how many fundraisers you're aware of that radio stations and TV stations do across the country, but people don't raise this kind of money. It just doesn't happen.
You people are special. You're different.
Every time I say these kind of numbers to people I know in the radio industry across the country, you did what now? In how many months? No. And in 4.5 shows, we raised $500,000.
And how'd you do it? Wolf Blitzer's Jeopardy debt chipped in $46. That's how we did it.
That's how you do it. You come up with funny names. That's how you do it.
Wow, combination of utterly open-hearted and sincere patriotism and just a love of being a wise ass. I mean, how do you describe this community that we had? Jack, you used the term tribe or community. There's absolutely something here, and I would like to think it has something to do with the fact that FAGs, Friends of Armstrong and Getty, understand that we are the United States of America. The government isn't. The big buildings in D.C. are not. The chattering heads on TV, that's not the United States of America. We are it. And when we have these brave young men who sacrifice like they have, and women as well, and they need a little help in their moment of suffering, that we're there for them. Who's going to be? We are, because we're the United States. I hope maybe that's what sort of binds us together.
Yep, that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Donut Jesus, for your $50 donation. That's
Jesus.
That's one of Joe's monikers. Remember, that's your story about how you could bring back any donut no matter how dead it was.
That's
Donut
right.
Jesus.
I brought donuts back from the dead. That's right. That's. I can't believe I ever said that out loud, but I think I did.
With a little water and the microwave.
In the microwave.
You could bring a donut back to life.
I would sprinkle water on them like I was baptizing them. And just, you have to nuke them, but just enough.
3-day-old donut, hard as a rock, could pound nails with it. Not for Joe Getty. That's a perfectly edible donut.
Well, and that was back when Jack and I were doing our first job together. And as I recall, the donuts at the place we used to stop and get them on the way to work was like 35 cents a piece for the big nice ones.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was back when the idea of wasting 35 cents was beyond even conceivability. There's no way I could squander 35 cents. When was I going to get my next 35 cents?
Yeah, that job did not pay well.
Anyway. No.
But thank you. Go to ArmstrongandGetty.com. Let's see what kind of a number we can hit. And we got a lot more on the way on the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Armstrong and Getty.
We're raising a bunch of money today for our veterans at Warrior Foundation Freedom Station.
Let's get back to the Radiothon on AM 760, Talk and Breaking News.
Hey, Slater Crusaders, this is unbelievable. 1-800-760-KFMB. Please donate now. We got two awesome guests here. The great Jeff Gray, my dentist, and the dentist to so many of these Warriors, and the morning show host over on Channel 8, who's done so much to help us out this morning. It's so awesome, Stella Escobedo. Stella, I want to start with you because it's been fun to watch you this last
I'm
hour
so
and
excited.
beyond, right? Because
Yeah.
you love these guys. Some of these guys, the first time you've heard their stories, and I think you personify everyone listening who hears these for the first time too.
You know, you hear about our service members who get injured, and then when you don't see them, you don't put a face to their name, and then when you hear their stories, and you're like, oh my God, these people are remarkable, and this is what they do for our country. Why would anybody want to do this? But they do. And they've lost limbs, eyes, and they're still so happy to be here. And I just get chills being here. It's been so exciting to see how much money has been raised so far.
Yeah. And part of that joy that they have now is because of the Warrior Foundation, right? Because imagine the depths they were in at the moment, and now they're back thriving.
The lows.
And there's still guys who need our help. Jeff Gray is one of the most patriotic and loyal supporters of the Warrior Foundation that I know. Jeff, it's awesome to see you, brother.
Oh, man, thanks. I'm so glad to be here. Every year we come down, and I'm inspired by all these people, the volunteers, by Sandy, by Brian, by you, by everyone that helps. I mean, shoot, look how much money they've raised already. This is awesome.
Why does this mean a lot to you, Jeff? Why have you been a supporter for, we're just talking about 10 years now?
Well, I think as a kid, my dad was in World War II. My brother went to Vietnam. Every 4th of July, every Memorial Day, Dad would put out the flag, and I could tell that meant like a lot to him, and so it always meant a lot to me. Sorry about that. Anybody that signed up that's in this room knew what the heck they were getting into. They knew they were going over, and they still chose to do that and to support our country, to support our way of life. So whatever I can do to support them, I'm all in.
I see an oversized piece of paper here. What is this, sir?
That is a check for money that we raised at our office. All the team at our office came, and together people come in, they whiten their teeth, and we donate 100% of the money to the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. And this year we were able to raise $15,000.
Yes, let's hear it.
There we go.
Dr. Jeff Gray, $15,000. Jeff, that's awesome, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Stella, we were talking before about Brian, and just on your point, Jeff.
Yeah.
These guys know what they signed up for, but to the next level of that, Brian had his job had a 90% casualty rate. I'm going to be saying this all day.
Yeah.
90% casualty rate, and he knew it every single day going into it.
And then how does he qualify his injury? What does he say?
Paper cut.
A paper cut.
His leg got
Yeah,
blown
he's
off.
so humble about it. And you're like, really? You woke up every morning knowing that something was going to happen to you? He's like, yeah.
He said every step.
Yep.
He said every step he took. He would look down every once in a while and say, "Oh, I still got both of my legs," in like a joking way.
We can't thank these men and women enough, really. But by raising money, this is the least we can do.
Yeah.
And send them home for the holidays.
Yeah, that's what an awesome gift that is. Right? What a simple gift, but a powerful gift. We talk about, you pay for a guy's dinner.
Yeah.
Right? That's cool, right? You see some veterans out or whatever. Jeff does amazing work, dental work for these guys. These are great gifts. But to send them home for Christmas, can you imagine, Jeff?
I mean, if you've been away, you've been injured, there's nothing better than your family and your friends to help put your mental state together, to get back in the comfort zone, to be with, your mom's favorite apple pie or whatever, your dad's barbecue, or to see your dog again, or something like that. Just sleep in your own bed with the same smells, and it just makes you feel like, hey, maybe there is a chance I can get back to normal, or whatever the new normal is for them.
And the gift for the family. And another wrinkle to this is if these guys are so injured that they can't travel right now, Warrior Foundation can fly their family out here too, which is a nice wrinkle. I was talking to Sandy earlier because there's this perception that the wars are over and we don't hear about them a lot in the news anymore. But Sandy said one of the guys just recently was injured 5 years ago. He had his leg severely injured. They were trying to save it, and they've saved it for 5 years, but they just had to do the amputation recently.
Wow.
So think about that. You think you're out of airway, and you're not yet. 5 years later, they had to get an amputation, and he may not be able to travel, so they'll bring their family out here. So again, everyone can still be together.
And there's also injuries that you don't see. You know what I mean? The mental scars.
Yeah. And Warrior Foundation is, they have a lot of programs that they do throughout the year and a lot of PTS programs that they do too. But this is our mission right now. 1-800-760-KFMB. Jeff Gray, $15,000, brother.
Hit me with a funny joke. I like me a funny joke.
Get your sheet together,
Taylor Swift
man.
announced that she's releasing a Christmas song. That's nice. Looks like someone had a bad breakup with Santa. It's called Single Bells, I think.
No?
Meh.
No?
Nah.
Do you have a better one?
That's fine.
Get this, at an art fair in Miami, a banana that's duct taped to a wall just sold for $120,000. It's crazy. You can get that same banana at Whole Foods for just $110,000.
That makes me laugh. And I don't get modern art. Modern art is stupid. As I've pointed out many times. It's hard to argue with me. So we're raising money for Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. More on that next hour, getting into the details of that. But on this particular, I'm around a bunch of guys today because Brian, the Marine who got his leg blown off, was actually here in the studio with me. And we were talking about the technology of prosthetics now is just incredible. And
it's
where
come
it is,
so far.
Oh, yeah, and where it is now versus even 2 years ago is incredible. He was explaining to me on how guys who've, or anybody, you don't have to be in the military, you could be car wreck, it could be anything, but guys who've lost above the knee used to be a huge one because that's getting into some really complicated, body parts that you need to be able to walk and stuff. And the prosthetics for that now are so good and can be adjusted for if you're going uphill and downhill and driving and all these different things. And they're so light and strong and, boy, amazing technology.
Wow, that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, as a guy who just got titanium and ceramic and everything put inside me, I know that they're making real advances in that science, so good for them. I'm glad to hear that, especially for, for like you said, for anybody who needs it.
So if you were a pirate, like in 1750, and I don't know how you lost your leg, did you? Did a shark bite it off?
Cannon fire, probably?
Cannon fire or something like that. And then they just
Sword
took
wound.
And then they just took a wooden stick and shoved it up in your leg. Is that what they did? Did that work? How did you not die from that?
Well, no, your stump would go in like a cup that was on top of the wood, and then that would be strapped to your leg. That's my understanding of Middle Ages prosthetic science.
Which is more than I got.
It's kind of my hobby. Yeah. So, yeah, your peg-legged pirate was no wonder they're in such a bad mood all the time. That's pretty primitive technology, but it's amazing what's going on these days. So, listen, one of the big stories today, we touched on this earlier, we'll touch on it again later in depth, but the Supreme Court today is going to take a look at whether they're going to consider that case from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that we've been talking about so much that said cities, you can't enforce your anti-vagrancy, anti-camping laws unless you have a bed available for every bum and junkie within your jurisdiction, which is, even by the Ninth Circuit Court's standards, stupid and capricious and unenforceable and hard to believe it happened. Although, it's kind of disturbing. It's kind of funny, but it's kind of disturbing. If you know anything about the history of jurisprudence in this country, there are quite a few decisions by eminent judges that are utterly indefensible. And they get overturned and laughed at for the rest of history, and this is one of them. I mean, the idea that, okay, we got 1,337 junkies. We have 1,337 beds. So can we now start enforcing our ordinance? Whoops. The bus just got here from Fresno. We now have 5 more bums and junkies. So we can't enforce our ordinance.
So back on the streets, everybody.
Right, exactly. And hey, those dangerous junkies who are assaulting women on the jogging trail, have at it, guys. We can't evict you. And people clogging up the parks and frightening little kids at the bathroom by the soccer field or taking a crap in front of a business. You people, as you were, keep going because we just got 5 new junkies in town.
Well, so it's completely unworkable. So that's one thing the Supreme Court could possibly say is it's unworkable. And, that that's before or after you get to the, since when did housing become a right, a constitutional right? That if you haven't figured out a life where you can house yourself, the government provides one. That would be a new one. That would upend society.
Well, and you're right. That's an excellent point. But to me, the Ninth Circuit Court ruling goes even further because it makes enforcement of quite a few laws that nobody's ever debated their legitimacy. It makes the enforcement of those laws dependent on having executed that brand new right and delivered it to everybody. So that's like doubly what the hell are you talking about-ish, if I may, resort to the legal speak. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what they say.
God, I hope they take it up.
Oh, yeah, they have to. They absolutely have to. I mean, listen, if you got bums and junkies, and because your folks who got cancer and that they couldn't make the rent and the rest of it, they're not taking a crap in front of a business.
Nope.
They're not molesting children at the park.
They're not breaking into your car.
Right. They're not doing any of those things. But those who are, I'm not saying take out the nightstick and beat them within an inch of their lives. I'm not saying be cruel. I'm not saying anything like that. They just can't stay here in a place that impacts the quality of life of hardworking Americans. It's as simple as that. And the Ninth Circuit Court said, oh, yeah, they can. Yeah, well, I can't wait for the Supreme Court to take this on. I'm sure they will. They have to. I'll call RBG tonight. We usually play poker on Friday nights, but she's feeling a little under the weather. So anyway, so you got that in the headlines. Also, and this is of a somewhat similar theme, but the Trump administration has tightened the work requirements for SNAP. It's your food stamps, essentially, which is administered, of course, through the Agriculture Department. But anyway, they've said, look, states. The idea is if you get the SNAP, you got to work. If you're an able-bodied, non-child-having adult. But these states, especially some of the blue states, just grants everybody an exemption. Says, no, you can get taxpayer money and food even if you don't ever lift a finger to help yourself. Well, the Trump administration has said, no, you're giving out these exemptions way too frequently. We're going to tighten that up. And so, of course, you got your NPRs and your MSNBCs just weeping bitter tears about up to 750,000 individuals could be dropped from SNAP and lose their benefits, as if it's a tragedy. Can we not have standards for who gets the taxpayer money? NPR, MSNBC? Can we ask nothing of people before other people's money is forcibly taken from them and redistributed? I just don't get their worldview.
Yeah, I know. It's I saw those headlines yesterday, and half the country thinks all government programs are good and should expand, always, right, without question. And that's just, I don't know what you do about that.
And they react to the very, like the auditing, just to make sure this is being run in the taxpayer interest, but just to make sure the taxpayers aren't being screwed. The very act of taking a look at it is seen as some sort of sin. God, you people are nuts. You're absolutely cuckoo nuts.
Hey, by the way, next hour we are bringing out the violin and the trombone in an annual classic.
Legendary, terrifying.
It usually raises a lot of money for Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, but Joe and I will be doing a duet. Is it Christmas songs we're going to do?
We need to talk about that. We'll come up with something exquisite.
Would anybody be able to tell the difference?
Armstrong and Getty.
Here's a reminder. When you need to know, all you need to know is AM 760 KFMB San Diego. This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kathan. 3 people shot and killed in Pensacola, Florida. Others wounded at the Naval Air Station there. The gunman is also dead.
The threat has been negated. Our community is secure at this time.
David Morgan is the sheriff.
Walking through the crime scene was like being on the set of a movie. And as the mayor eloquently put, you just don't expect this to happen at home. This doesn't happen in Escambia County. It doesn't happen in Pensacola.
Pentagon correspondent David Martin.
Pensacola is where Navy personnel go for their flight training to learn how to fly. And this particular building is the building that all newly arriving personnel are to report to first to get their assignments for the rest of their training.
The family of the UPS driver killed in a shootout between police in South Florida and two armed robbery suspects blames police for his death. The shooting began after a chase involving the commandeered truck ended in a traffic jam. Police say they were fired on first. CBS News security analyst Paul Violas.
It may very well come out that the UPS driver was killed in the gunfire, and it may come out that it was from a police officer's bullet. There's no question about that. The fact is, no one knows yet.
Along with the UPS driver, another person was killed along with the two suspects. In a report, Uber says more than 6,000 sexual assault complaints were made by riders and drivers in 2017 and 18. And it says crashes over that period resulted in 107 deaths. Strong numbers in the government's November jobs report. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says employers added 266,000 jobs. The jobless rate fell to 3.5%.
At a 3.1% wage gain and inflation running low, this actually argues for a pretty good holiday spending season.
President Trump tweets the report is great. Michael Bloomberg says he got into the Democratic presidential race because he looked at the large field and thought Donald Trump would, quote, eat him up. He was asked by CBS This Morning's Gayle King about his recent admission that the stop-and-frisk police policy he employed while mayor of New York City was a mistake.
We don't question your belief that you made a mistake. I think the question is the timing that you realize you made the mistake.
Well, nobody asked me about it until I started running for president, so come on.
Are you saying to people that you realize you had made a mistake before, but you just didn't mention it until now?
I think we were overzealous at the time to do it.
The policy was criticized as a form of racial profiling. Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 308 points. This is CBS News.
The biggest names in politics face the questions you want answered.
As Commander-in-Chief, what do you think America's role in the world should be?
Face the Nation, Sundays on CBS.
Hey, Armstrong and Getty here, and we, like you, are always looking for ways to save a few bucks and free up some extra cash. Great way to do that is to call our friend Kevin Lyons, president of Anchor Funding.
Look, property values are up, mortgage rates are low. Kevin just helped a listener with a refi. She paid off over $35,000 in credit cards and got an additional $33,000 cash back.
Yeah, she's now saving over $520 a month. How much money could you save every month by lowering your payment, paying off an adjustable line of credit, or whatever? Call Kevin and find out.
Kevin's company, Anchor Funding, is a San Diego-based direct lender, and for the past 21 years, Kevin has been helping thousands of listeners like you save money every month.
5 minutes on the phone. That's it. Kevin Lyons. Call him at 1-800-333-5157. 1-800-333-5157. Or visit him online at www.anchorfunding.net.
Equal housing lender. California Bureau of Real Estate broker number 012760887. NMLS 236419. Not all applicants qualify. Loans made or arranged pursuant to the Department of Business Oversight California Finance Lenders Law.
Head to San Diego's favorite casino to watch your favorite pro sports games on Valley View Casino and Hotel's 18-foot LED video wall. At their main stage bar and over 100 big screen TVs throughout the casino. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more.
So how do Honda SUVs compare to Santa's sleigh? Both the Pilot and CR-V have loads of cargo room. Santa's sleigh can hold enough gifts for every good boy and girl on Earth, so advantage Santa. But during the Happy Honda Days sales event, Honda has incredible deals and special factory financing on our most popular SUVs. So hurry to your San Diego Honda dealers for incomparable holiday deals. Visit sdhondadealers.com.
Always sunny. Ho, ho, ho.
Do you have wet or warm spots on your floor? Call Bill Howe, the slab leak expert, as those could be signs of a slab leak. For the great service and pricing you have come to expect, you know who to call.
Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE. Bill Howe.
License number 488413.
We know how.
Now, from the studios of News 8, live, local, San Diego's talk and breaking news. This is AM 760.
7 heroin deaths. I'm 760's Alan Lee. That's one of the stories we're following.
760.
South 805 connected to the East 8 shutdown. That's the end of a pursuit. Traffic sponsored by your always sunny San Diego Honda dealers. 'Tis the season for the Happy Honda Days sales event. Your San Diego Honda dealers are ready to wrap up a deal you'll love for your nearest dealer. Visit sdhondadealers.com. A flesh-eating bacteria linked to the use of heroin has killed at least 7 in Southern California. San Diego area health officials report 9 people who injected black tar heroin were hospitalized with a soft tissue infection that destroys muscles, 7 of them died. The closure of coastal waters has been extended by San Diego environmental health officials. County staff says the closure of coastal waters includes the Silver Strand and Coronado shorelines due to the sewage-contaminated water. Partly cloudy and 55 at Lindbergh Field. AM 760 Talk and Breaking News. Now it's Armstrong and Getty.
We got kind of a special guest coming up in a moment in terms of a celebrity with a challenge for Warrior Foundation Freedom Station. We'll tell you about that in just a few moments. I was just coming across this this judge with bad judgment in Kentucky. Have you seen this story?
I don't believe I have.
A Kentucky judge has been accused of turning the chambers into a glorified frat house, having a threesome with staffers and allowing employees to get drunk on the job, all while abusing power to win re-election. Here's the interesting twist with the judge. It is a girl, Dawn Gentry.
My.
Yeah, kind of makes it interesting. Hit with 9 charges by the state's Judicial Conduct Commission on Wednesday. The trouble started when the judge hired her band's guitar player.
Their studio where those phone lines have been ringing. Eric, good morning.
Hey, ladies, how you doing? Hey, let me tell you something. I want you just to think for a second. We have a military service member in our country somewhere that's wounded, that is in a hospital, far away from their family, is so saddened they're not going to be able to be home for the holidays. You can help that person be home with their family for the holidays, and it's so easy. 1-800-760-KFMB. Call right now. The lines have been ringing off the hook, and it's because of stories like this. Povis McNitus, a veteran. Thank you so much for your service. Of course. Not just a veteran, Povis is Veteran of the Year. Talk about being named that. I mean, what an incredible honor. We have a lot of great veterans here in San Diego being a military town. So congratulations on that, Povis. Tell us about that experience.
It was when I was sitting at that luncheon that day and listening to what everyone's doing in our community here and their incredible resumes, I was just blown away, and I'd never thought that I would win the Veteran of the Year award. So for that to come to me, I was incredibly honored.
You stayed at Freedom Station as a resident maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago after your service. Can you tell our viewers at home how important this is and how much it really helped you?
Yeah, so it's great to be in a transitional facility like Freedom Station. You know, when you're getting out of the military, say you're missing a hand, you're missing a foot,
right.
Your daily life changes completely. So, you know, you're missing a hand, even opening a can of soup, it's more difficult.
Right.
So to be able to be at a place like Freedom Station that helps you get used to all of these new things that you're dealing with in your life it's uncomparable to anything else. Yeah.
And because of this Radiothon, you came home for the holidays. How much did that mean to you and your family?
So while I was in, you know, we were lining up for formations every morning, and this one morning it was particularly early, and I was going, why are we getting lined up this early? What's going on? And we have these new people standing in front of our formation, and I'm going, what are these ladies? Why are we here? You know,
big surprise.
We get this postcard, and I'm going, we got here for a postcard. Thanks a lot. Like, maybe I'm being ungrateful. I didn't understand what it was. And the postcard reads, this Christmas, you're going to wake up in your own bed in your own home.
Did your heart just like fall out of its chest at that point?
I didn't know. And then I was like, okay, that's a nice saying. That's very nice. You know, maybe it's some Zen haiku thing.
Yeah.
And the lady tells us what's going on, and she's saying, we're going to fly you all home for Christmas.
Povis, that was
amazing.
And that's what this is all about. I got Mike Slater here. Mike, I know you've been doing this for a couple years. That's the story behind all of this, right?
I mean, you see the before and after these guys too, right?
Yeah.
So our hospital is the best hospital in the world, physically. But these guys come, they go home, they heal spiritually and emotionally, and they come back completely rejuvenated. It's the best medicine that anyone can give. And doctors can't give it.
Right.
You can give it by calling right now and getting these guys home for Christmas.
We're looking at the big board right now. We are well over $500,000, ladies, as we send it to you. We are raising tens of thousands of dollars just within the last hour alone. So keep that money coming. These ladies and gentlemen have been hard at work over here, and there's just this great buzz, this great sense of spirit here in San Diego. Keep that coming in, 1-800-760-KFMB. We could really appreciate your help right now. Stories like Povis just go a long way. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, you know, their hope is to raise $1 million, but I bet since we're going
up until
we can
6
pass it.
p.m. We're going to pass it.
Yeah,
That's
what do you
for
think?
sure.
Pass $1 million
Oh,
this
yes.
year? Is this the year to do it?
Always will.
San Diego might step up this year. I think we can do it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, Eric, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for the check on the dollar amount that's coming in too. It's not too late to donate. We'll put more information on our website if folks want to find it there too. Eric, thanks.
You know what? I can't thank you guys enough. I just got a chance to listen to Dr. Gray. He does some great stuff here in San Diego. But, man, you guys are doing such a great thing for our wounded warriors. And the idea of getting them home for Christmas, like you mentioned, my father and my father-in-law are both Marines and very proud of their service, as our whole family is. And I just want to say thank you to everybody out there that's making donations and what you guys do on the air. This is just fantastic.
Well, thanks for saying so, Trevor. We just think it's what Americans ought to be doing, but it's the least we can do. Now, I heard a rumor you had some sort of challenge in mind, or maybe you wanted to throw something out there?
Your producers are pretty funny. They like to stir some stuff up, but really my only challenge is believe in what our troops do.
Other Hall of Fame relief pitchers, you have to donate money. Mariano Rivera, where are you? Open your checkbook.
Dennis Eckersley, I'm looking at you.
He does an amazing job with the Wounded Foundation, and
yes, he does.
He does get some stuff out in Arizona with some great functions and stuff like that. So I know he probably threw down the initial gauntlet on the challenges, and I'm just trying to keep up. So yeah, if there's some other ball players out there, listen, let's go, let's get on this train and do some donations.
Hey, Trevor, thanks a million, man. It's good to talk to you.
You guys have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, you too.
John Schmaltz, what are you, asleep? Come on now. Dan Quisenberry, what, you don't have a phone? Donate some money.
There.
Rod Beck, where are you?
Yes. So here's all you have to do. Just go to ArmstrongandGetty.com. There's a big banner. You can't miss it. ArmstrongandGetty.com. And kick in. If you can afford $10, do $10. If you can afford $10,000, do $10,000. This organization, Warrior Foundation Freedom Station, and you got to get the name right. 4-star charity, incredibly efficient. Every dollar you give is going to go to doing good. So thanks again to Trevor Hoffman.
And by the way, I just Googled greatest relief pitchers of all time, and then I got this website, first website that came up, so I could throw out some names like that in my hilarious comedy bit. Number 5 on the list, Trevor Hoffman, of greatest relief pitchers of all time. That's
he
pretty
retired
impressive.
with the highest career strikeout rate of any reliever. Which is pretty outstanding. So anyway, yeah, come on, ball players, professional and otherwise, those of us who love the game, those of us who cheered for Trevor Hoffman, come on, give it up, few more bucks. We're debating. We blew past our completely unrealistic goal because you know what? I'm going to tell you something that doesn't make me proud. We underestimated your generosity. And I feel bad about that. You the fags of America, friends of Armstrong and Getty, you're even cooler and more patriotic and more generous than we thought. And so we've blown past our goal of $500,000 this week. And we're debating whether to set a new goal or just to see how high we can go.
Yeah, well, we're about to bring out the big guns, so we're going to have to set a mini goal here. We'll have to discuss during the commercial break. But the big guns being a trombone and a violin.
Playing in exquisite harmony together by two guys that can barely play them.
Here's the
Barbaric.
thing. Here's the thing. I can't play the violin. I have not touched the violin since last year when we did this.
No, I haven't touched the trombone either. I promise you that.
You have touched the trombone once a year.
Yes.
For, I don't know however long we've been doing this, 15 years or something.
Yeah, I used to be able to play the thing pretty well, but trust me, I cannot anymore.
And so we got to set a little mini goal, and what we'll do is we'll keep playing until we reach the goal.
Yes.
And if you want it to stop, and you will want it to stop, if you want it to stop, you're going to have to donate at ArmstrongandGetty.com. We'll get into that next on the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Armstrong and Getty.
Now let's head out to Studio A for the Warrior Foundation Freedom Station Radiothon with Mike Slater.
We're doing cars right now, or which one are we doing?
No, this is not.
Okay. I'm so confused.
Hey, Dan the Man. Sorry, are we on? Sorry, brother. I missed the intro there. Sorry, guys. We're down here raising money, answering phone calls, having an awesome time. Sorry, I was 10 seconds late. Right now, we're here with Junior, who's one of the awesome warriors who's been helped by Warrior Foundation and one of the great spokespeople. And also Denise Hewing, who is from McGriff Insurance.
That's correct.
Denise, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
What are we doing here? We have an oversized piece of paper. What is this?
We do. Again, I'm Denise Hewing with McGriff Insurance Services, and formerly known as BB&T John Burnham. And I'm joined here today with one of my teammates. That's Veronica Ramirez over there helping on the phones. And Karen Reed, our area president, couldn't make it today. So it's a privilege to fill in for her and represent the team in San Diego. And we contribute on an annual basis. And this is our contribution this year. So I'd like to present $5,000 to the Warrior Foundation.
Beautiful. $5,000!
$5,000! I don't hear any cowbells over there.
Why do you guys do this at McGriff?
Sure. We were introduced to the Warrior Foundation back in 2009. And at
10 years.
10
That's amazing.
years, yes. And at that time, we learned what the foundation was doing to reunite our military heroes with their family during the holiday season. So an idea was born and a decision was made that rather than sending gifts to our clients during the holiday season, we would support in this way. And this is something that our team in San Diego gets behind, and our clients are really excited to be a part of as well.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Denise. Thanks
You're welcome.
everyone back there. That's really great of you guys.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much. And you're helping guys like this guy right here, Junior.
Thank you very much on behalf of the Warriors and myself. Thank you for everything you've done for us and helping us out.
Thank you for what you do for us every day.
Well, thank you very much.
Junior, let's speak. We're going to talk later more about your story and everything, Junior, but tell us about the flight home and this $5,000, which goes to guys like you, has gone to guys like you.
It has.
What does that mean to get a ticket home?
Waking up at your own house is definitely something different, especially after you've been recovering. I mean, it's it can get quite lonely, quite depressing, and to be able to go home and to be with your family after enduring hardship, enduring pain, and enduring being at the hospital, it's uplifting. I mean, seeing your family after you've been injured is definitely something different. I mean, they see you at the hospital, but when they actually get to see you at home, it's...
I was going to ask, when you were injured and in the hospital, how long until your family got to see you in the hospital?
It was a little different for myself. My dad's a doctor.
Okay.
So I always had an understanding with my family that if I ever did get hurt, I didn't want them there. So it was a year and a half before I saw my parents.
No way. Did they at the hospital, or did you go see them?
The hospital the first time.
Wow.
But normally it varies for different people. I mean, if you're most of the guys, once they get to Balboa, they try to fly in their families.
Yeah.
If the military isn't able to do it, that's where Warrior Foundation jumps in.
Yeah.
Sandy will fly them here.
I asked that because I think of these guys who haven't seen their families in years.
Yeah.
Years, Denise. And then you're able to step up here, give some money, send these guys home, and their families get to see them.
It's definitely changing. To be a mom or dad, I'm a parent, so I could not imagine my daughters getting injured. So it is definitely trying and heartbreaking as a mother that birthed us, as a dad that watched us grow up. It's definitely heartbreaking to know that your kid, your child, your son, your daughter has been injured, whether it was in combat or in training or what be.
And to come home and say, Mom, I'm okay. I'm going to get better.
It's definitely life-changing.
1-800-760-KFMB. Thank you to McGriff Insurance for donating. And thank you to you for donating right now. 1-800-760-KFMB. You hear that cowbell? That's a donation. And we got about 10 volunteers answering phone calls right now. And at this moment, no one's answering a phone. Unbelievable. It's the first time I've seen that, though.
I see people eating.
That's right. No eating breaks.
Hey, no eating
not allowed
over
any
there.
eating breaks here.
No eating over there.
1-800-760-KFMB. Let's send our guys home for Christmas. 1-800-760-KFMB. Back to Armstrong and Getty.
Very nice.